Right now, thousands of people are walking along Alexandria's waterfront. They're drinking coffee, taking photos, watching the waves roll in. Most of them have no idea they're standing directly above one of the greatest lost cities in history. Because beneath just a few meters of seawater lies Cleopatra's royal harbor. Not a legend, not a myth. A real city with palaces, temples, massive statues, and even the remains of royal ships still resting where they sank. For centuries, people believed the city vanished in a single catastrophic disaster, but modern science tells a very different story. Using sonar, underwater archaeology, and decades of excavation, researchers have uncovered evidence that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Alexandria's fate. And the most incredible part, some of the biggest discoveries were made only recently, meaning this story is still unfolding today. I'm Scout, and welcome to Forgotten Engineering. Today, we're diving beneath the Mediterranean to uncover the lost harbor of Alexandria. To understand why this discovery matters, we first have to understand what Alexandria once was. This wasn't just another ancient city. For centuries, Alexandria was one of the richest, smartest, and most powerful cities on Earth. Every year, ships arrived from Greece, Rome, Egypt, Africa, and the Near East, carrying grain, gold, marbles, spices, papyrus, and ideas from every corner of the ancient world. If knowledge had a capital, this was it. Its famous library attracted the greatest minds of the age. Its lighthouse guided sailors across the Mediterranean. Its harbor connected continents long before anyone imagined the modern world. But not every ship entered the same harbor. Ancient Alexandria was divided into two very different worlds. The western harbor belonged to merchants, busy, noisy, and filled with trade from across the Mediterranean. The eastern harbor was something else entirely. This was Portus Magnus, the great harbor. Behind its protected waters stood royal palaces, government buildings, sacred temples, and the private island of Antirrhodos. This was the heart of Ptolemaic Egypt. Cleopatra herself sailed through these waters. Julius Caesar fought here. Mark Antony stood on these shores. Every decision that shaped the final years of ancient Egypt passed through this harbor. And today, almost all of it lies beneath the sea. For centuries, people believed Alexandria's royal harbor was gone forever. Buried beneath layers of sand, hidden by the Mediterranean, and slowly forgotten by history, the few ancient texts that described it were fascinating, but they weren't enough. Historians knew the city had existed. What they didn't know was exactly where it had gone. Then, in the early 1990s, everything changed. A team of marine archaeologists, led by Frank Gaudio, arrived with a simple question. Could the lost royal quarter still be there? Instead of searching blindly, they let technology lead the way. Long before a single diver entered the water, powerful sonar systems began scanning the seabed. Slowly, a hidden landscape started to appear. Straight lines, massive stone blocks, perfectly shaped foundations. These weren't natural rock formations. Someone had built them. Only after months of mapping did archaeologists begin excavating, and what they uncovered exceeded every expectation. Colossal granite statues still lying where they had fallen, temple floors that had remained untouched for centuries, harbor walls, stone quays, royal buildings. Piece by piece, the lost city began rising from the seabed. Not because anyone guessed where it was, but because science finally gave history a map. For generations, one explanation dominated the story of Alexandria. A single catastrophic tsunami, one terrible night, and an entire city vanished beneath the Mediterranean. It's dramatic, it's memorable, and for a long time, many people believed it. But when scientists began studying the harbor floor, they uncovered a very different story. Instead of searching for legends, they searched for evidence. Deep beneath the seabed, researchers collected sediment cores layer after layer of mud, sand, and fragments that had quietly recorded Alexandria's history for centuries. What they discovered surprised even geologists. The city wasn't swallowed in a single disaster. It had already been sinking. Alexandria was built on soft delta soils. Over hundreds of years, that ground slowly compressed beneath the enormous weight of temples, palaces, streets, and monuments. At the same time, sea levels gradually rose. Then came the earthquakes. Not one, many. Some powerful enough to damage the famous lighthouse of Alexandria. Others triggered destructive waves that repeatedly struck the coastline. Each event left another scar. Not enough to destroy the city overnight, but enough to weaken it year after year. The truth is far less dramatic than the legend, and somehow even more fascinating. Alexandria didn't disappear in a single night. It disappeared one earthquake, one flood, one generation at a time. You might think this story ended centuries ago. It didn't. In fact, some of Alexandria's most remarkable discoveries have happened within the last few years. Every new expedition reveals another piece of a city that refused to disappear completely. One of the most extraordinary discoveries came near the ancient Temple of Isis. Hidden beneath layers of sand and sediment, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a royal Egyptian pleasure barge. For centuries, vessels like this were known only from ancient writings and artwork. No one had ever found one in the real world. Until now, the discovery gave historians something priceless. Not another legend, but physical evidence. A real royal vessel, preserved beneath the Mediterranean for nearly 2,000 years. And perhaps the most surprising part is what happened next. The archaeologists didn't bring it to a museum. Instead, they carefully documented every detail, then protected it beneath the sea once again. It may sound strange, but after surviving underwater for centuries, the sea had become its safest home. Modern archaeology isn't about removing every discovery. Sometimes, preserving history means leaving it exactly where it was found. And that's why Alexandria continues to surprise the world. Every new survey, every new scan, every new excavation reminds us that this lost city is still telling its story. When people hear the name Alexandria, they usually think of Cleopatra, or the Great Library, or perhaps the famous lighthouse that once stood at the edge of the sea. But after looking at the evidence, I think the real story is something much bigger. Alexandria reminds us that even the greatest cities on Earth are never permanent. Stone can crumble, empires can fall, even entire coastlines can disappear beneath the sea. But knowledge has a remarkable way of surviving. Sometimes it's hidden inside an ancient manuscript, sometimes inside a forgotten machine, and sometimes it's waiting beneath a few meters of seawater for someone curious enough to look for it. That's what makes archaeology so fascinating. Every new discovery doesn't just tell us more about the past, it changes the way we understand ourselves. And if one of history's greatest cities can still surprise scientists after more than 2,000 years, imagine how many other engineering marvels are still waiting to be found. I'm Scout, and this is Forgotten Engineering. Every forgotten invention, every lost city, reminds us that history is far from finished. If you enjoy uncovering the technologies, cities, and engineering achievements that time almost erased, subscribe